Hello and welcome to Life is Feudal, Forest Village. We're just getting into spring of, year 45. The population has started to bounce back, which is good. But I've been doing a lot of work off camera to basically keep things ticking over, and I'd say we have made some good progress now. I'm just going to pause the game because there's a lot of things I need to do, and I want to do it as soon as all the snow's cleared out. But we've done a lot of terraforming down here. There's buildings now ready to use, but I was just going to leave that on pause because I don't want to bring too many people into the population just because of the food supplies. So I was thinking, well, actually what I could do though is I could pause a building here and then unpause a building here. Then that way we'll get more of the people over here that work over here living here, so it should be more efficient. So, like, you know, if there's any herdsmen working here but live here, there's, you know, less distance for them to travel. The other things I've been doing, I've been putting in farms to, you know, to supply these. So we're not ready to use them yet. I just don't have enough people, and that's one of the biggest problems I've got, is a lack of labour force and the lack of basically people to cover all the jobs I need doing, and a lack of food. But I've also started running out of clothing. We've only got one weaver, and as soon as the sheep came on stream, I dedicated them to doing the warm clothing, but that hasn't helped me at all. So I've got another weaver here that's a weaver house that's ready to go. We've got a bit of a surplus, so I'm going to bring that on stream shortly. That one's going to be dedicated to the warm clothing, whereas that one will be dedicated to normal clothing. Because before I had that, the population was about 61, I think, and there was a lot of spare clothing. It might be just because a lot of people died off, so a lot of clothing had to get used, but we'll see. But as long as we've got two, hopefully that should resolve the problem. There's a big surplus of vegetables, so I've built myself another bakery, which is going to be doing vegetable pies. So hopefully we should start to see even more vegetable pies being made, and that might help with the food production as well. And speaking of the food production, there's obviously a lack of things like fruit, meat and fish, and I think that is causing problems. I think that might be part of the problem that I've got, is that people need a variety in their food, and I haven't noticed it recently, but every so often while I was keeping my eye on the sheep, there's been people wandering around here that had like a little icon of that, like vegetable pie for instance, above their head. So I'm not really sure how this system works. I haven't bothered looking in wikis or anything like that. I want to just play it out for myself, but I get the impression is if you don't supply them all the different types of food, it causes them problems. So I do need to plug that gap. So there's a few things I'm gonna do. So I've been bringing on, like, when there was a lack of food, I was just automatically bringing on potato farms, assuming, you know, they just need tons and tons of calories to keep them going, but that may not be the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to free up one of the farmers and put them into the gatherer hut. Now the gatherers, they actually go out, they gather fruit and they gather vegetables. So hopefully that might help, you know, increase the fruit supply. Won't help with the vegetables, but it should help with the fruit. The fish. Now I want to expand out here. I'm going to take this little fishing lodge out. I'm going to build a new one here, then I'm going to release that one. I'm going to build a couple of fish farms down here, and then I'm going to dedicate some more people to just fish farms as opposed to fishing lodges. Then during the winter I'll have anybody that's doing the gathering, or, you know, maybe a few of the farmers even, I'll release them from their jobs because there's nothing for them to do, and I'll put them into the fishing lodges. So in theory we'll see like an increase in the amount of fish during the winter, but better still, there's a lot more food coming into the actual food chain year on year. So that should help. The hunters aren't really getting anywhere, I'd say. They do get some meat, but not as much as they could. I wonder how this one does in comparison. See, this one's up to like 60, and there's two of them, but it's still a lot more than that one person does, because most of that area, what I'm doing is I'm keeping the area clear to try and stop animals coming in and attacking the livestock. But the trouble is, it then means that these aren't being very efficient. So I'm going to take a bit of a risk. I'm going to take these lodges, the hunting cabins out, and I'm going to move them down there. I'm going to take the hunters lodges down and the forester lodges down. I'll have one person in here, so that way I'll free one person up. But I should have a better meat supply as well, and these will then be producing both more logs basically. Now the problem then is you're going to get a lot of trees are going to grow, then you're going to get more animals coming in. Now there's a couple of ways I can deal with it. I can keep chopping putting orders in to chop the trees down. But there's also, if I can find it, there's a watchtower. If I build one of these, as far as I recall, I can then upgrade it so it has arrows. It doesn't get manned, so then that should be able to shoot things down. You can see it's got a certain coverage area, so if anything comes within that area it should get shot. And I think that'll also double up for the raiders, because I'll get raiders coming in every so often, and so far they've just been hitting the quarry there. So I'm going to put some of these out on the edges where animals can get in, but also where the raiders can get in. I'll put some around the centre as well to help me. So in theory then that should help. But another strategy I'm going to use is I'm going to start putting the buildings in. If you've got buildings down, no trees can grow in their place. I don't know whether it'll work if there's just foundations. I don't know if like a tree will still sprout where there's a foundation. Worst case, I'll have to build a building, but then I'll pause it off, because otherwise it starts messing up the stats. Like say all of a sudden you might have like, I've got room for like 16 farmers, and if I keep tweaking the amount of people in the farms, during winter and springtime, it'll start getting a bit confusing for me. So I'm going to put some buildings down as well, so hopefully that'll help, and then that way I'll keep the area nice and clear. But I don't want to sort of like get into the area of these people, because it's going to mess their things up. I've been doing quite a lot of terraforming out here, just to keep everything nice and flat and easier to build, and I've done that here. So this area is a bit more efficient now as well, because the barn's right next to where the blacksmith works, along with place for the kilners and the iron furnace person. I can't remember what their jobs. What are they called? The smelter. So that's a strategy anyway, to make things more efficient. There's nobody dedicated as a healer, so what I'm doing is if anybody takes ill, you suddenly see like a little red cross pop up, and then I'll dedicate somebody to being the healer. As soon as they've been healed, then I'll take them out, but I'll have to just keep an eye on the amount of herbs, because I've got to make sure. I mean, I've got little herb gatherers out here, but every so often I'll just have to dedicate somebody to that if we're starting to see a shortage. But in terms of the buildings I'm looking for, I mean, there's quite a few things. I mean, there's a shortage of fruit, so I should really start making an orchard. One thing I've noticed actually, which I wasn't paying much attention to, was it actually tells you how many people will be working in a field. So like down the bottom, it's showing, and down there it says, oh, it's vegetables, crops, blah blah blah, number of workers 1. So as I expand this out, that'll increase, so now it says number of workers 2, and I was getting a bit confused because I think I was only focusing on that center area where it shows me like somebody with a little hammer. I thought that was the number of like farmers I'd end up with, and it's not. It's the number of builders that can work on actually building this farm. So at the moment you can have up to 1 builder on it. Now you can have 2, but if I look at the bottom, it says number of workers 1, so it means you can have up to 2 people build this, but when it's finished there'll only be 1 farmer. So that's where I was getting confused. I think it's the same with the pig farms. So what I've done is I've reduced the pig farm down to 2 people, so that way it'll be easier for me to bring this on stream later later down the line, I should say. So yeah, I could do with an orchard. If I can, I'm quite interested in bringing in an apiary, because then you can get honey. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you've got one of these around the fields, it makes them more efficient. So what I might do, depending on how big these can be, I might pull one of, I might say like pull one of the fields that's in here. Because I set that up as a potato field, so I might like free up one of these ones, like that one for instance, and have an apiary there. It'll give me a bit of honey which can go towards like honey pies, but the good thing is that it might mean that these fields become more efficient. What else is there? There's a tavern would be good, because obviously that makes people happy if they've got beer to drink. There's also, now this trade fair, I'm not sure what this trade fair does. It just says keeping resources for people. So I don't know, I mean it's got like an area of effect I think. But I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to build another house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that pyre there, move it over to there. Or maybe I'll put it up there. And build another 6 house there. And then I'll move one of these, I'll get rid of this and I'll put this little market fair or whatever it is, or trade fair. I don't know, I don't know what it's for. I don't know whether it's a case of maybe these people go out and gather things from the barns, the warehouses for instance, and bring it to here for the people to then get. So it might mean that, instead of somebody who lives here coming all the way out to, down here for instance to get fish, or up here to get fruit, there's already people, a couple of people actually going out and getting that for them, bringing it to here, so it makes it easier for these people. We'll see, but I'm going to have to knock that building down, which means, as I say, I'm going to have to build this one over here first. There's also, if I can find it, yeah, there's also a market. Now the market is something you can use. There's supposedly, people out there that you can trade with. Now I've got things like surplus of grain for instance, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to build one of these, but the only trouble is I don't know if this can, this needs donkeys to bring all the produce to the market and to take the produce away from market. But the idea is I want to be able to trade in grain for, say, maybe milk for instance, which I don't have, or maybe for some more fish. But I'm going to put it in all the same, just for the sake of seeing, well, what do I get out of it? Does it actually, do I need the donkeys now, or do I need the donkeys now to actually make use of it, or does it work without them? The only time I've used it, I had donkeys at the time, so we'll just have to wait and see. So, I mean, I've got to wait till spring. We're in spring, but I've got to wait for all this lot to thaw out. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the video, get cracking on with all this work that I need to do, and then once I've at least got things going, I'll bring you back. Well, I brought you back just to give you a bit of an update, because we seem to be making some progress. Food wise we're doing better, we're up to over 11,000 food. I mean the fish and the meat seem to be keeping us sort of like a bit of a surplus at the moment. We've got a bit more fruit. I mean basically what I've done is I took 2 people out of a potato field, and they're now doing gathering, so we've got they're producing some vegetables there, but also some fruit, so hopefully that'll be contributing to maybe the reasons why these don't get eaten so much. I don't know, I mean we'll have to see. And then there's the 2 hunters I moved from the centre. Presumably they'll be able to go out and find more wild animals out here, because they're it's all forest area. We need quite a bit of resources still to finish building this house, and I did put an instruction down here to build one, but I think what I'll do is, I mean I'm just leaving that on hold for now, because the idea is when I bring this one up on stream I'll have to upgrade it after it's built, but that's when I'll pause this one here. The Fisherman's Lodge has been built, and I've now got an instruction here to decommission this one. I've built an apiary, so what I did is there was a potato farm here, and I've moved those farmers up to there. So here we've got an apiary. I think it turns out it's the other way around. It says nearby trees and plants increase your honey production. So I thought it was the other way around. I thought this would be contributing to the plants, because obviously bees do help plants, but for whatever reason it's the other way around. So we've got an order in for an orchard. Well, the orchard's been built, but I've got it on pause because I need more people. Over here I'm building a bakery because you can make fruit pies. So I figure like maybe I could use some of that fruit to make pies there. So that's on pause at the moment because I just wanted to test out, you know, the theory, because these foundations, they do seem to be keeping the trees away. I've got an order in there for a house, but I've paused that off because there's going to be a lot of people working in this area, so I thought I'll put that in. That's going to be another orchard. I think it's a bigger one than that one. That will have 2 people. Then we've got a watchtower here, got a funeral pile over there. The tavern's foundation's in, and so is the one for the market. But they're on pause because I really just wanted to see what would happen, you know, for the trees. But there's obviously quite a lot of work to do in this area because I really want to be able to keep the trees back then, and that will help, in theory, stop the animals getting in. We've had more like raiders, so I've got a watchtower getting built over here and here. They seem to be getting the priority for the stone, but I'm quite pleased with the clothes because the clothes are coming on a lot faster now as well. So hopefully that should help. But once this is gone, I'm going to start expanding out here. But I'll just pause the video and I'll bring you back once we've made some more progress. I brought it back because I saw this sign, and when I first saw it pop up, I thought it was one of the actual people was ill. So what I did is I'd added somebody into the healer store, but it turns out the actual animals are sick. So I'm not 100% sure what to do. So I've got an instruction in to basically, you know, slaughter one of them. Well, just to see if that will, you know, do anything. So we're down to 15 and we're still not doing well. Because the trouble is, as long as these are ill, the people get ill. But it doesn't seem to be doing anything, and I don't know if I've got to... Do I have to do all of them, or just some of them, or... I'm going to take a bit of a gamble. I think what I'll do is I'll build another pasture, just a quick one. So that needs that amount of people. We'll prioritise that, because the trouble is it takes ages to get your sheep back. So I think I don't want to like slaughter the entire herd, but it's a case of what else do you do? I mean, I'm thinking I'm like, you know, I'll build this other one, move some of them over there, but on the off chance none of them are sick, then I'll move them back. It's still not helping. Because I got the impression that if these get sick, then what happens is if you put in an order to slaughter them, it slaughters the ill one, but I don't know how far or how badly it's spread. Where are we up to? So we need... there's only one person who can work on that. Carrying food to house. They're busy building something. Are you going to build this, mate? Focus on this, will you? Ah, good. Right. Okay, well... the trouble is that they tend to, like, especially in the winter, they'll come out, and it's a case of it gets too cold, and then they'll run off home because it's too cold. Or alternatively, they just run off home because they're hungry, but... so there's there's now 2 people. So who's that one? That's a farmer that's taken ill, and a herdsman that's taken ill. So this is not helping me in the slightest. I mean, even if I can get 1 sheep back, it's better. I'm going to take a bit of a gamble because I'm going to try and move. As soon as this is ready, I'm going to move 1 sheep over to that other farm, just out of curiosity to see if they get infected as well. So there's one over there. So let me try. So that's to kill an animal. So I'll relocate one animal to here. Actually, I'm just going to pause that because I need another herdsman, don't I? Right, so there's two now there. Just slow that down. Send another one over. So there's the sheep. Off it goes, wandering over there. So that's 3 of 9 now. They seem alright. Yeah, I think that might be the... You're taking a big gamble here, so... I don't want to relocate them all, otherwise they'll all get sick. Hang on. Relocate... half. Relocate 1. Oh, somebody died of old age, so I've got no more... I've got nobody left in the labour force. I'll drop that down. So that sheep's going over. So the idea is, if I can get at least a lot of them over there, then I can bring that. I can kill off all of these ones and then move them. You know, move them all back again. So that's 6 of 9. 7. I mean, I suppose it pays to have, you know, 2 of each. Right, so that gives me 9, and so far none of them seem to be sick, so the only alternative is just to kill off the rest. So we're down to 1, in theory. Either that or they all were just dying off anyway, I don't know. Because quite a few of them are wandering over, so there's just 1 sheep left. But the sickness, whichever one or however many were ill, they're fine, so I think I'll just move them all back. You can all go back. Go on. They'll all wander there, then they'll all wander back again. But I think that seems to be one way to do it anyway, because I was under the impression you would just slaughter 1, and then in theory the ill one would be slaughtered, but I don't know how many were ill. Just didn't tell me, just said you had sick animals. So I'm just going to wait for all those to go back, and then I'll decommission this place, but yeah, it's an interesting thing, because I've never noticed that before. Anyway, I'll just pause this off, and then I'll bring you back. Well, I brought you back to give you another update, because it's actually taking forever and a day to get things done. I don't know why. I mean, one of the problems I've got is like a shortage of stone and iron. So I've been sending people out to get to go and gather the stone and the iron out here. I mean, I've got quite a few people, you know, a few labourers. It's like mining stone and iron takes quite a while, but these towers that I've been building, they take a lot of stone up. I mean, just to build one of them, you need 180 stone, and then when you upgrade them, they need another 220 stone. Now, I don't know why, but I mean, this house is just not getting built. I've got a little size, you know, this little house down here. This one, it's just taking ages. I'm keeping a careful eye on it down here, but it's taking ages before they'll put any stone in it, and I don't know why, because it's got a priority order, but they keep on insisting on doing these watchtowers for some strange reason. Another thing I've been up to is I've noticed we're really running short on flour. We've got tons and tons of grain, but you can't get any more than 2 people per mill. So I'm going to build a mill up here. Then I've got an orchard down here where we'll have some apples. I've got a barn to go. Then I've got Just on the off chance, I'm probably going to put a wheat field up here to supply that particular windmill. Otherwise, they'll have to come all the way down here to get the grain. Then we've got a baker here, and I think I might do the fruit pies. I mean, you don't get much, but well, actually you do. You get 59 versus 56, so I could get them to do fruit pies, for instance. But food-wise, we're ticking along. I mean, vegetables is just getting crazy. We're up to like 13,000 vegetables now. And all I've really done is, I mean, I took 2 people out of the potato fields and put them down here to do you know, as a gatherer. So maybe I should have done that in the first place and focused on more gatherers. We're still waiting for these fish farms to be built because they need iron. Yeah, so I've got 2 people. The trouble is I don't have enough lodges yet. I've realised there's not enough lodges available to free everybody up. So at the moment I'm only freeing up 3 of the gatherers. But one thing I've noticed is I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause off this grass field. I brought that back because obviously we were starting to use up the grass for the sheep over here. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to free that one back up again. So I'm going to turn this one on, turn that one off. That way the farmer will come over here, and then the herdsmen, when they need to go and get the hay for the sheep, they can just probably come to this barn here. There is a potato field that I've got over here. Now that's not up to much, to be honest. If I've got this amount of food, I think I'm just going to pause that off. And what I'll do is I'll turn on this flax field over here. So that way the weaver over here doesn't have to go so far to get their flax, because the flax will be probably down here somewhere. So there's the barn, so all the flax is down there. So hopefully that'll make things better, because we're getting quite a lot of clothes now. But by opening those 2, I think we should make things a bit more efficient. So I'm really just waiting for this this house to be built, but for whatever reason they insist on focusing on these watchtowers. So it's going to take a while, but I'll bring you back once we're ready. Well, this has really got me puzzled now. I mean, the population is in decline, so it's been a bit of a pain. I keep having to take people out of things. I've got nobody in fishing now. There's just the fish farms. Although we seem to be doing okay for fish, I think. It means I can free up like 9 of the farmers like during the winter. But I don't know. I mean, this particular house here, all it needed was 2 more stone. Yeah, it needed 2 more stone. But no, I mean, I paused off every other building, because even though it had priority, it just wasn't getting done. So I've paused off every other building, still nothing. The labourer and the builder, they were just sitting around doing nothing. So I unpaused this building. Now this building, it needs another 60 iron ore. But again, there's nobody delivering to it. I mean, we've got all this in storage, but nobody's delivering, so I ended up destroying this building here. I've built a new one. They've delivered some wood, some stone and some hay, but zip, nada, nothing. That's as far as they've gone. They're just, even though we've got all this stone and iron that's sitting up in the northeast warehouse up here, nobody seems interested in supplying it to the building down there, and I just don't get why. I mean, I've put in another order. We're into summer now. I've just put in another order to get them to go out here and start mining stone and iron, just to see, because I don't know, maybe some of this is in reserve or something. I just don't understand. It's got me puzzled that I don't have enough people to put back into the mines, unfortunately. Well, having said that, I mean, I've got, how are we doing for clay? Yeah, I'll take them out of the clay mine and I'll put them into the stone mine. Because all I need, it's crazy, all I needed was 2 stone and they would have been able to start that building. And I'll try this building here as well, just to see if that might give them a shove as well. That doesn't need much, it just needs what? A bit of stone, a bit of iron, see if they'll start going there instead. But it's very strange, I just don't know what's going on. But I'll persevere and I'll bring you back shortly. Well, we'll manage to get all of the buildings put in that I aimed to. So things like the windmill, We've got an orchard down here. I've actually got a couple of bakers down here for the fruit pies, but we need cattle for the milk. I've expanded this one out to make it bigger. I've had to do a bit of terraforming down there. I've also got an extra fishing lodge down here. Eventually managed to get a house built, and that was basically, it was once people started harvesting the stone and the iron, and that ended up in the warehouse down here. Straight away the two houses started getting built, so I ended the production on the one that was here, and I've since put in a lumberjack just so that these people can get enough firewood to keep them warm during the winter. We've got all of our fish farms, so we've got 7. We've got our extra fishing lodge up here. We've now got a tavern as well, so that's good. They make alcohol from the grain, water and oats, so we're keeping a good surplus of those anyway, so it's not causing a problem, but it's really doing well for the happiness of the people. What else have we done? I've been doing a bit of a cleanup down here because I built this little trade fair, and it's kind of useless. I think it's just like a cosmetic version of the barn. Doesn't seem to be doing anything really. I thought you might get like a couple of labourers who would go out and bring things to it, but no, it doesn't. It's just a barn effectively. I tidied up the farms down here. I got rid of a couple of them, and I've now got this one. That's just specifically the flax for the weaver here. I've built another school because I want to move that one down there so I can put more houses in, and I've moved this baker a bit further down as well. I cleared out the healer's shop so I can move it down to here. So basically once that's freed up, we should be able to put more houses in this area because I want to put in a bathhouse. That's got an area of effect, and that's supposed to cheer people up as well, which improves their production. So I've got an order in at the moment for a new house here and a new house here. This one, as soon as it's ready, I'll upgrade it. Pause these two off to get everybody to move across, deconstruct that one, and then build our little bathhouse there, and then it's just going to be a case of adding more houses in here. I think we're doing quite well on the towers. I've still got a couple here to upgrade, and from what I gather, they do actually, they'll take down the wild animals. You can upgrade them again to like level 3, and as far as I'm aware, all that does, it just increases the range of coverage. But I think the only issue I've got next is, I need cows obviously for these, so I'm going to have to send out another expedition. But I could really do with like some donkeys, because they built the market, but the trouble is it says you need pack mules, so that's not operational until we get pack mules, which is a shame. So I really need to start sending out more expeditions. Where we're also running out of eggs. We've got like two baker shops dedicated to vegetable pies, but I need more eggs. So I think what I'm going to do is clear up this area here, move the tower out maybe down to, well, there's already a tower down there, I'll probably move it out that way then. Build a bigger coop over here so we can get more eggs, and then I'll start building a bigger pig farm maybe down here or along here somewhere. Do some terraforming as well. We lose people to things like hypothermia, starvation, and I think that's mostly when I haven't had the order, cancelled to go out and, farm resources. I think that's when it mostly happens. So, we're kind of ticking by. We've kind of like caught back up again. So, we're doing really well, I'd say. Whenever the raiders have landed, I haven't had any problems. So I think these towers must be doing what they're set out to do. But I think that's going to be it for this video, because we've done a massive amount. It's taken me a long time, just because I needed to gather all of the stone and the iron and the clay, and I just haven't had enough people to do it basically, and there's been so much to do. But we're getting there. So I think the focus of the next episode's probably going to be pretty much on expanding out the pastures, and hopefully getting some donkeys. I really need those to be able to at least progress on there and start making some progress of moving all the resources around for people. So anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If so, then do please leave a like, as that will help me out a great deal. If you're new to the channel and you do want to see more content, then yeah, do subscribe. Just remember to click the little bell icon though, and then that way you'll get notifications for when new content comes out. And if you've got any comments, any suggestions, any feedback at all you'd like to leave, please leave that in the comment section below. But until next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye!